Hey friends, I have a pretty cool video for you guys today. We are going to do a complete cooling fan showdown for the Discovery 2. We are going to compare 3 electric fan options we offer on our website and pit them against the stock clutch fan as well as the Hayden 2991 severe duty clutch fan. I'm going to perform a series of stress tests to compare how each of these fan options performs under load. And then I'm going to compare the idle recovery time of each of those fans. So to perform the load test, we need to put the car under load. I'm going to put some wheel chocks in the front. I'm going to pull the handbrake, put the car in drive, hold the brake, and press the accelerator. We're going to keep the car at 1500 RPM. While that's going on, we are going to watch the temperatures and we are going to measure how much time it takes to go from 195 to 210 degrees. Why start at 195? Well, that's because 195 is a temperature at which all of the electric fans will go full speed. Once we reach 210, I'm going to let go of the accelerator and we are going to watch how long it takes to get back down from 210 to 195. And that's going to give us the idle recovery time. Whichever fan takes the longest to get up to 210 is the fan that performs best under load. And whichever fan gets us back down to 195 the fastest is the fan that performs the best at idle. For this test, I'm going to pull the fuse for the dual condenser fans. The dual condenser fans are a little bit too good and they tend to skew the results. So we want to compare just the merits of these radiator fans. Before we get started, let's go on a tour of all the fans. This is the stock clutch fan from 2003. Next up, the Hayden 2991 severe duty fan clutch. This is the most powerful fan clutch you can put in your Discovery 2. Now moving to electric fans. This is our 3200 CFM brushed fan kit from SPAL. These draw about 30 amps at full speed. We have a relay kit where these will run at half speed most of the time, and then they will go to full speed at 195 Fahrenheit. Down here, these are the SPAL 3700 CFM high output brushed fans. They work very similar to those fans. However, these have beefier motors and they will pull 50 amps at full speed. And finally, perhaps the most interesting one is the all-new SPAL Brushless fans. As far as I know, these are the most powerful 12-inch fans on the market. These fans are beasts. The brushless fans have a lot more torque and they can pull air through a restriction like a radiator and a condenser a lot better. These also pull 50 amps at full speed. These will ramp up slowly and progressively in speed between 175 Fahrenheit and 195 Fahrenheit, at which point they will run on full speed. Naturally, we'll have the AC on full blast the whole time, and the exterior temperature for reference is 86 degrees. All right, let's start with the OEM clutch fan so we can get a baseline reading. So you know the drill. I'm gonna rev it to 1500 RPM in drive, and we're gonna measure how long it takes to go from 195 to 210. But as you can see, idling with the stock clutch, we're already past 195. So, and climbing. So I'm gonna have to actually shut the car, cool it down a little, so that then I can do the load test from 195 to 210 with the stock clutch. All right, got it to cool down a bit. So here we go. right, we've reached 210. Let go of the accelerator, and now we're gonna measure how long it takes to get down to 195 from here. So we have a little spike to 212, and let's see. All right, it's been long enough and we're at 244, so I'm gonna stop it right here. Well, that was a bit terrifying. Let's see if the severe duty clutch can do any better. All right, didn't burn myself too bad. Let's try it. All right, severe clutch is in. Putting it in drive, and let's run the same test. Alright, we're at 210, letting go of the accelerator, and now let's see how long it takes to get back to 195. $239, and I think I'm going to stop it here because it doesn't look like we're coming down. Been trying to cool the engine down with the AC off and just revving it, and it's still taking a while. I've been doing this for a few minutes now, so I'm having quite a bit of trouble getting the temperatures down. Well, that was a tough test. I wasn't expecting the severe duty clutch fan to struggle so much in the idle recovery test. But hey, that's why we have the load test. Maybe the clutch fans will do better in the load test. We'll see. But in the idle recovery test, we were not able to get down to 195, and the temperatures just kept climbing. So let's move on to electric fans. Next up is our weakest set of fans, but they are by no means weak. These are high performance fans that will pull 3200 CFM roughly altogether. So let's run the same test with these. All right, electric fans are in. Let's run the same test. See 210, so I let go of the accelerator. Now let's see how long it takes to go down to 195, if we even make it. So little spike to 212. 215. All right, it's been long enough and doesn't look like we're going below 210. This is already much better than the clutch fans. We're gonna call it and say that these fans can take us down to 210. All right, let's switch. Stepping it up a notch, these are the SPAL high output that pull about 3700 CFM at 50 amps. Alright, the high output 3700 CFM fans are in. Let's run the same test, putting it in drive. Already the idle temps are starting low. Let's go. Remember, we're measuring from 195 to 210. I see 210, so I let off the pedal and let's see what happens. Spike to 212. Okay, I think I'm gonna call the bottom at 203. And now we get to pull out the big guns. The all-new SPAL Brushless fans. As far as I know, the most powerful electric fans on the market. Can these get us back down to 195? Let's see. AC on full blast, you know the drill. Putting in drive, 1500 RPM. Let's go. .210. Alright, letting off the gas. Can we make it down to 195? Little peek at 212. .8, almost there, or you could say we made it. So these fans could do it. They were the first ones to do it. 194. All right, we did it. Now, shall we wait and see how low can we go? At 194, the fan's going to start to ramp down in speed, so it won't be running full speed anymore. Alright, I think it's been long enough. We're going to call the bottom at 194. Alright, so testing is complete. And let's talk first about the load test. So, to see how long it took to get from 195 to 210 for each fan, I have to go and review the footage. So I'm going to cut to future Daniel, who's going to edit all the footage, see how long it takes, and create a table and compare all the fans. And here are the results. On the left is our winner, the Hayden Severe Duty Fan Clutch. The stock clutch fan came in as a close second, and the SPAL Brushless fan came in as a close third. It's no surprise to see the clutch fans do best under load. After all, they are attached to a V8 engine, so when the V8 engine is revving up, they're going to spin and push a lot of air. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that the brushless fans come in pretty close. So the conclusion here is that if you're in a situation where you're towing a lot, going over a mountain pass, under load for a long time, that's a situation where the clutch fans are going to perform the best. But if you have any of the brushed fans, you're going to see your temperatures creep up in that specific scenario. I don't think you'll overheat. It's not like they're going to do a bad job. They just won't do as well as the clutch fans. But I would like to make a couple of points in favor of the electric fans. If the electric fans give you a better idle temperature, then you will probably start from a lower temperature before you even go over that mountain pass. And on the flip side, once you're done going over this mountain pass, if you come to a stop, then the electric fans will do a much better job at recovering from the elevated temperatures of being under load. Alright, back to present, Daniel. So for the idle recovery tests, the results were pretty conclusive, and I was really surprised to see the severe duty clutch fan struggle so much. I didn't expect the temperatures to keep climbing past 230s with the severe clutch. I thought that I would be able to keep up at least a little, but even the weakest electric fans ended up doing better than both clutch fans at idle recovery. For both clutch fans, the temperatures have kept creeping up and up and up. For the 3200 CFM SPAL fans, temperatures came down to 210 and sort of stabilized there. For the 3700 CFM brushed fans, temperatures came down to 203 at the lowest and then stabilized around 204. And finally, for the brushless fans, we made it all the way down to 194. Now, to be fair, I'll say something in defense of the clutch fans. Yes, the electric fans can recover better at idle, but since the clutch fans do better under load, you won't have such a high temperature to recover from in the first place. It was cool to see that the brushless fans did super well in the load test too. Being that these are some of the most powerful fans on the market, I would be really surprised if they didn't dominate at everything. And there's another big takeaway I want to bring up, is that the condenser fans make a huge difference. All of these fans would have performed a lot better if I kept the condenser fan running. But having the AC on, that hot condenser with no fans blowing on it, really made this an extreme stress test. With the condenser fans, we would never have seen those idle temperatures beyond 230. But I decided to disable them because they were kind of skewing the results, and I wanted to test the individual radiator fans on their own merits without any external help. So if you're considering a new radiator fan, which one should you go with? If you're towing a lot, and that's when you see most of your overheating, then the severe duty fan clutch might give you the best performance there, especially for the price. However, if you're mostly overheating when you're at idle or crawling slowly up a trail, then it looks like any of our electric fans would be an upgrade. I would go with the 3200 CFM electric fans if you have a moderate build and you live somewhere where it usually doesn't get much hotter than 90 degrees, maybe 100 degrees, and you're not like extremely loaded with super big tires and an upgraded engine or anything like that. Then I think the 3200 CFM are totally sufficient. Now let's say you live in a super hot climate, somewhere in Arizona, New Mexico. It might be 110 degrees, maybe more. Or maybe you have a super built out disco with big tires. If you're hitting that combination, hot climate, heavy car, crawling up trails, definitely consider the higher power electric fans. Let me know in the comments if you thought this test was fair. If you think I should conduct different tests, like maybe one with the condenser fans on, maybe one at higher RPMs, let me know. And with that, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.